Hey, welcome back to Brandon Media Strategies. Today we're going to go over a few items. Maybe I'll call it some cleanup, and then we're going to go over margins and bullet points and a simpler way for all of you to do some of your presentation stuff. I'm going to show you how to crop an image in Illustrator for all those of you who are having trouble with that. And I want to do a little circle on the text, circle text that not always everybody does. It's not incorrectly, but you don't realize how finicky it is. So it's actually going to be, it'll be a shorter program today, but it's all good. First off, I'm just going to go to the first lesson. One overall message is make sure you are reading all the assignment, the whole assignment. I mark things in red that are probably pretty important, but if you see, you can keep scrolling. And I know you guys have to go to the bottom, but here, like at the end, it says like everything I'm looking for at the end of week 2. 10 logo variation, a poster design, a flyer design, and you share the it's all in here multiple times. Read through it and give me everything. This is what a creative brief would look like. What do you need to get done? It's all in here. And if you forget something and you're dealing with a client, they're going to be like, how come you didn't do this? It was written up in the brief. And if you're like, oh, I guess I missed it, then you'll be like, oh, I guess we need to hire somebody who won't miss things that are in the creative brief. It's very important. This is getting better. But again, I have like document creation. Please follow it step by step. Watch my videos. It's all there. And this is, again, something you need to do when you're designing for anybody. You need to set up your documents correctly with all the correct stuff. I'm not just making this up. Like, this needs to move. Like, when you do, if you were to get hired and they're like, why does your document not have margins or bleeds, or like, and then you're paying money and it's late, and then you're like, oh, and you're learning how to do it, and you're going to do it. You do it 2 times a week. If you're in my history class, you're doing it 4 times a week. Yeah, you're doing it in InDesign and Illustrator, 2 different. Just follow each step. Figure out a way. If you need to print this, come on in and work directly with me. I'm here 2 days a week. You could sit there in a desk in front of me and ask as you go. And I'll come up and I'll talk to you about it. And I'll be like, okay, let's do this. And then let's do it again. And then let's do it again. So it's all in here. Make sure you're doing it right. Some of you are. Some of you aren't. Make sure you're doing it right. All right? It's about learning design. Why do I have to do that? It's design. Go anywhere and ask, like, so document setup, you got to put in crop marks and bleeds, and they'll be like, yeah, why wouldn't you? What about that margin? Yeah, margins. Yeah, we need to have those in there. It is part of the design process. So make sure you're doing that. Make sure you're following every step. If you are confused, if you're missing, if you can't quite understand, please just immediately reach out to me. I'm here for you. Hey, I need to meet with you. Let's meet. I'll be like, come on in. Let's do a video chat. How do you want to meet? Let's meet. Let's talk about it. What are you not understanding? I am here to help you understand it. That's why I'm here. So please help me help you. All right, enough of that. Bullet points. All right, throughout your career and throughout your design process, you will be doing informational designs that require bullet points, and bullet points need to be typeset correctly. I have 2 examples here, just alone and with with a supporting paragraph, I'll call it. That's the best way for me to say it. I want to review this tightly with you. I'm going to zoom in and talk about every little thing and mark it up. So let's get into it. This is a correct setup. The reason it's correct is there's a bullet point, a space. Yep, I got my draw. You know, a bullet point with a space, and then the line is even. I don't have the text coming back here. It's all even, perfectly down. And then the other great part about this is that it's also a gap in between each bullet point. Why do we do this? These are little nuggets of information, and thus so should be read as nuggets of information. I want to read this nugget all by itself. It is a bullet point. It's special. It is separated from everybody else. When I'm done reading this one, I move on to this one. It's a nugget of information. And we keep moving down. We don't want to blend them in and make them this. This is not correct. Well, it's bullet pointed, but when you read through it, it looks like a horrible paragraph. There's no separation telling me that this is like a nugget of information, this is a nugget of information, this is one. And so those spaces aren't there to help me read the information correctly. Because you are communication designers. You know, that's the other part. You are telling people how they should read the document. And so when you do bullet points, which a lot of us do, and you'll do them way more than you think, you need to do them correct. It is not simply just putting a bullet point in front of each area. Here's another wrong example. It's sort of correct. You have a bullet point, you have a lead in, and you have a space. But all these are all over the place. This one's set in, this one's set out, this one's good, set in, kind of good, set in. They should all line up perfectly. It should look uniform. See how I could draw these lines here? And make sure that my bullets, like each one of these, this major section right here, is how we read it. We want people to really be able to read clearly. So when we're typesetting, you need to slow down and take some time and look at what you're typesetting and typeset it for the people. Not just, oh, I copied and pasted and threw it in. Anybody can do that. Anybody in the world can copy and paste and throw in text. But a graphic designer is going to take the time and make sure that each nugget of information is clearly readable or legible. Not just throwing, I just did it. Oh, I did. You want bullet points? Here you go. These are bullet points. No, but then it's not separated. I can't tell where one starts, one ends. Here I can. So there are, if you want more knowledge on bullet points, please ask. They're in InDesign, you just go to bullet points and it kind of does it for you. And in Illustrator, I believe there's a bullet pointing section, or you do it by hand. But bullet points should look like this. So if you ever hear me say that the bullet points aren't correct, I'm referring to this document. Here we have the same, this is correct, where I have lead-in information and then bullet points afterwards. And again, we have the same thing, lead-in information with a space, and then my bullet points are spaced and set in. I would do this in 2 separate paragraph boxes. You have your lead-in paragraph, do that one as a paragraph box, and then do this as another text box where you can set it as bullet points. You can adjust all the tabs, all that kind of stuff to get it looking really clean and smooth. Like I can read this. I know this is the up, and then I have information, information, information. We need to read correctly. This here, somebody tried to typeset it. I can't tell what's going on. You know, it's kind of a paragraph, and it seems like there's stuff. This bullet point is in too far because somebody's using the space bar as their tab. We don't, as professional designers, you don't use the space bar to make adjustments to your typography. But why not? Because when it goes to print and goes other places, it gets messed up severely. Spaces are not correct. Like, we don't just like, oh, I'm going to put a tab, or it's called a tab, but I'm like, I need to indent this. And so I'm going to hit space, 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 because you know what? Space, 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 space here isn't going to line up. It all depends on the character width and the character problem. So that's why we're like, oh, I just going to do the space. I just need to hurry and do spaces. And then it's going to be wrong. Stop hurrying. And just like, I need to set up bullet points correctly. It's a practice thing, like everything. You got to practice. Do it once, do it again, figure it out. Look on YouTube. I was just out with a friend last night, a design friend, photography friend actually, and I was asking that person about teaching the photography Photoshop class and making sure we're hitting on stuff like, and the person's like, yeah, but they got to remember, like, you're showing it once. They have to do it a lot, right? I'm like, I know. I try to tell them, like, you have to practice. You can't just do it once and understand. You have to practice. And then the other one is this professional, 30-year professional is like, I'm on YouTube all the time looking stuff up. I want to know how to do it better, faster, greater. Look up a 5-minute video. Like, oh, how do I do that again? Look it up. Here's the other one. Ask me. I'm your YouTube video. So if you're unsure, like if I tell you like your bullet points are set up wrong, here's how you do it, and you're like, oh, how did you do that? Have a video chat with me. I'll show you in live. I will do it with you live and be like, this is how you do it. And we can get it done. So bullet points are pretty darn important as a visual communicator. Start to learn how to do them correctly. One of them is just seeing how they should be is how you should do them. Here's the other one. Look around your life and see how bullet points are done in professional work. Not the flyer from the local whatever, but like professional bullet points. Look at flyers. Look at, anything like that and be like, oh yeah, the bullet points, they're nicely separated and they have, they're tabbed in correctly. It does it. It does it automatically. So that's bullet points. Check out that PDF, download it, save it. Now we talk about margins, and I talk about that page margin. Nothing should go outside of the page margin, right? Joel is all about the margin. You get the margin set wrong. He keeps telling me it's wrong, it's wrong, it's wrong. It's wrong, wrong, wrong. Oh, I hate it. Joel, you do it wrong. Then it's because you need to know how to do it as a professional designer. And you have to understand that everything in the design should have a margin. And my best way to describe this is personal space. And I know, and I feel like, I'm going to say this, like 90% of the students, you have a thing about personal space because nobody comes into college to like learn. Because you're like, oh, I don't want to leave my house or my basement or my laptop computer. I don't want to go and see people and actually talk to people. So you need your personal space. Every design element needs personal space. And enough. Do you want me to be like really close to your face, talking, like really close to you, and you're like, oh my God, please step away. That's what every design element needs, is that step away. I need some space. And that's why you should look at everything, and everything you should create a visual distance or a margin around it. So there's enough room for it to breathe. Again, I love my personal space analogy with that. Is get up, like, I don't know where it comes from when we design, when we're beginning designers, that we just jam everything in. Not enough space. Here, look at that nice space, like plenty of space all around. Here, no space. I can't even fit a line in there. It's too tight. And again, I taught you how to do that using that free transform tool where you can just make it smaller no matter what you're doing. Illustrator, InDesign, make it smaller. Use that free transform tool. Should be the greatest. It is by far for me like one of the greatest tools, especially in InDesign. It makes InDesign Illustrator. Here it is again. There's a margin here and a margin here. There's ample space. Not enough space, not enough space. What? I think what we run into as beginning designers is it needs to be as big as possible for them to read it. It doesn't. It can be smaller. It can be small and elegant. And you know what that leads to? Easier reading. Just because the type is big does not necessarily mean it's easier to read. You can have bigger type and have it be harder to read if it's all jammed up and screwed up. You know, like this is so uncomfortable to read compared to this one. And it's the same information. It's spaced out. I don't want to zoom. So, you know, use that. Think about that space. Just always, like when you're designing, think personal space, personal space, personal space. Same thing with images. Pretend this black box is an image. There's no reason to jam text up right next to it. Like this is what I get a lot. And then they put the text, and the text is like butted up against the image. No. We want space. Give some space. Those are too close. You know, create that margin where nothing can get any closer than a certain distance between stuff. But Joel, what about if I want them to overlap? Well, then overlap them, and overlap them with intention. Not just overlap by like a pixel, but if you're going to overlap something, overlap it with intention, that you want to show that like I am purposely overlapping these two pictures and it looks like they're overlapped. What if I want two pictures right next to each other? Perfectly fine. Then you make sure that they're perfectly touching, that there's no gap between them, and that they're perfectly aligned, you know, top and bottom, and it looks like the person meant to have these two images touching to create a larger diptych or triptych, depending on how many images you have. So make sure, it's not always about the whole page margin, but it's also about the margining with every design element and keeping that space uncomfortable to read and look at. Nice, there's room, there's space. It's the exact same information, exact same paragraph layout, but one is just a little bit smaller, incorporating some room around it. So make sure you're looking at those pieces and not jamming stuff up against each other. Everything does not need to be as big as possible on the page. Some things are smaller, some things are bigger. Give things room. Think of hierarchy. What's important, what's not. I'm working on those posters of ours, like the logo is most important, and then it goes down, and then we work on other things. So make sure you're using that information, not just making things as big as possible to make things as big as possible because we need to read everything on the page as big as possible. No, hierarchy. We taught that in 103, where we go from most important to least important in size and in design. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. All right. I'm going to do, let's do the crop in the box. This one's easy. I have this image. I did this last week, and I just think people kind of forget that you do this in Illustrator. I believe the same thing can be done in InDesign. I should have checked first, but yeah, I've done it in InDesign. You're just creating a clipping mask for an image. I gotta double check now. Let's do it. File, place. I jumped into Illustrator because I feel like most people are using Illustrator for their posters. Oh, it doesn't like the AFI. So I take that back. Well, I'll just do Illustrator now. I'll do InDesign next week for cropping. But it's, in case you didn't learn, it's a two-step process. Here's the other one thing I want to talk about when we're dealing with this stuff is you have 3 programs to use as designers, especially third semester. And you need to use the right program or a blend of all the programs properly when working. One program doesn't do it all, so we mix and we match and we use what's best to the certain situation that what we're in. I can go into Photoshop and actually crop this out and like make a PNG and have no background. Or I can make a PSD and have no background. That's one way to do it. But I can also just do it in Illustrator and just follow the box art. And sometimes this is easier for me, but it depends on the application. Like if you're doing a ton of them and it's all the same, like these are happening like really close and I was able to use the same one each time. But what I'm doing is I'm just using the pen tool and I'm going around the perimeter of this box all the way around it. All right. Now it's as simple as grabbing both the image and the box and going to Object, Clipping Mask, Make. And there you go. That is cut out and it's real tight. You know, there's no like fuzzy wuzzies. There's no artifacting. It's really good and clean. How did I do it so well? One, I zoomed in and I was on a large screen. I got these large screens here at MATC. They're amazing. No squinting, no leaning in, no stress. I love it. These giant screens. Oh, everybody should be using these. Oh, you can by coming in and working in the studio with me and using the best equipment around. So that's how you do that. Again, I think somebody did this, you know, it can be that shape or like, say I want to do I'll do this. I want to show some, so this came up in a student's design and I want to just kind of really talk about this for a second. Let me download an image from Bubbler. Campus. Save. Okay. File, place. Got this one, place. All right. Got the surfer girl. Now somebody, if you want this person in a circle, the first thing to do is create your circle. And then you have to find where it fits. What does that mean? Well, one, I don't want to cut anything off. I don't want like flat lines here. You know, I don't want a flat line showing. So I need to be in the whole picture. And then I'm going to move it around to make sure, like, do I have enough information? Is this zoomed in close enough? Or should I zoom out a little bit and make sure, do I need more of her feet? And then that's a little more centered. And this actually was very well cropped and done. But I'm not off like, oh, I want her centered and then I'm going to do this and then I'm going to edit, object, clipping mask and make. And then like, then you have these weird flat edges. We don't want that at all. Okay. what we want is full image in the circle. Now, the other thing I see happening a bunch still is ovals for circles. Shift. Shift, 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 shift. There's no other way around it. Your hand should be holding down shift like anytime I go to this icon, my finger's on shift. I go to like even make a square, even if I want a rectangle, my finger's on shift. Start to learn to shift everything. So object, clipping mask, compound, clipping mask, make. Now this person is perfectly in a circle. They look great. No images going beyond it. Awesome. You can do it with any shape you want. I think I can do it with the pencil tool, though I removed my pencil tool. I'll do the blob brush. Wow, that was bad. Let me hold on. All right, blob brush. I'm going to my other drawing screen. Wow. Going around. All right, so I got that. Advanced techniques here. This is not a line. This is not this is a compound path. So I need to remove the inside. So what I'm going to do is go from select tool to direct select tool. I'm going to click on that inside path and hit delete twice. Deleting once removes the segment that I was on. Deleting twice removes that whole path. Now I have a path, like a shape. And if I go to object, compound path, make. Oh, you know what? Because I probably have too many things going on. Well, let's remove it. So I go to this, object, and I can hit expand. And then let's try it again. Object, clipping mask, comma path, clipping mask, make. Ta-da! Sorry. Sometimes I get those reversed. But there it is. Very cool, very cut out. It looks great. Yeah, you know what I used? You know I got that smoother on? Because I used the drawing screen. And it took me 1 second. I wasn't on trying to use my mouse. So rad. So rad to be able to do that kind of stuff. So make sure you're doing those correctly. All right, next one I see happening a lot. Circle text. Everybody loves to do circle text. Well, the problem with circle text is you have to do it perfectly. Otherwise, it doesn't look right. So to do it perfectly, when you have your circle, it's best to find the center point and mark the center point. Because if you just all willy-nilly draw another circle, it's not going to line up right. It's going to look like crap. So if I was oh, I just need it, and I'm going to draw a circle, and here I go, and yeah, that looks good. So I got my circle, and then I'm going to, go to my type on a path tool, and then I click on it. Maybe non-compound. Not. There's nothing compound about this. There we go. I don't know why I was doing that. And then so I'm like, I don't know what is it gonna say? Don't burst. And then I'm gonna zoom in. I'm gonna move it. I do not like I to this day have a very hard time with these with creating text on a arc like this, because some of these tools are like I don't know like which one moves what, and then I get these things popping up. So I do have, every time I do it, it's like starting new, and it's super irritating. So that's supposed to be centered. But when I look at it, there's a bigger gap on the top than the sides because it's an oval. And we just need to make sure that when we do it, it's always a circle and our circles are perfectly centered. And we do that by marking our circle. I moved it. And then developing our circle on top of it perfectly. Do that. So that gap is perfect. It's not hard. Again, I'm just holding shift and I'm making sure that one circle lines up with another circle. There are so many tools. Probably under align it. You know, like I have to have them both selected, but use the tools at your disposal to get things perfect. It's so easy to get things perfect. And then, well, this is now off here. I'll put that there. And then this is path, and then don't burst my. And then we futz with it till we can get it the way we want it. Really? I had to do that to get it to separate out? This is why, like, I seriously hate this. I can eventually get it, but it, like, you know, it's one of those, like, takes forever. Let's center it up. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't know why they make that so difficult. But now it's perfect. Now the other thing then too is like, oh, it's super far away. Well, then you can, if you hold shift and option or shift and alt, you make that smaller from the center out. And it's holding shift with option or alt. Okay? Try it at home. And then like that's how you're like, oh, how's the spacing? I want it a little bit further. Perfect. Don't just, again, make an arc, you know, or I see maybe this is what happens. People are like, oh, now I want text on an arc. And they're like, meow, meow, meow. And then you do this because that's, you know, and then don't burst. You know, and then like, okay, this is good. I got it. It's going around that circle. Well, not really consistently, and I can see that a mile away. So if you're going around the circle, use a circle. Easy as that. So to play with, like I said, I hate the pulls when you do that. I can't stand it, but it's something you just have to do each time. So that is that. I got a couple more. No, one more, and then I'll let you guys go. Aha! All right. Let's make life easier for everybody. So I have my bubbler poster, and I have my bubbler flyer. It's not complete. I got a really bad grade because I didn't complete my flyer. So I'm, you know, just kind of messed up on that. But I need to put them in my presentation, and I have my pages, and I like, this will be for the poster, and this one will be for the flyer. So I'm going to put the poster in. And so I have a poster layer, and I'm going to go to my poster. This is great. Okay. I go through that, how to export, how to do everything. Export your poster correctly, and watch this. File, and I'm going to do it for a 2-pager too. It'll blow your mind. Export as, because this is what we have to do no matter what. And I'm going to do it as a PDF. Wait, what? Hold on. Just keep holding. Just wait. Export. I'm going to go press quality. I'm going to include my trim marks and my bleed. Wait, what? And I'm going to export that. So here it is, right? There's my bubbler poster, except for some reason the text is missing. Whatever. That's some weird thing. It made the text missing. I'm not sure why. But now watch this. I go to InDesign. And I go to this poster layer. And I go to File, Place. And I'm going to go to, it's in my downloads. And it's a bubbler poster. And I'm going to hit Open. And right now, wait, I'm going to show you something. File. And this is for PDFs. Place. And you're going to have to learn this for later on in this class. I'm teaching you now. I have this thing on. Show import options. And this is for PDFs. And I'll show you why with the flyer. And I'm going to go to bubbler poster, hit open. That's it. And hit OK. Now it drops my bubbler poster in with all the trimmings. And it's all one document. And it's crisp and clean. And it looks good. And I'm trying to find free transform. So look at that. One-stop shop. Why export as a JPEG? Why export as anything else? You can export as a PDF, place it into your document. And look how clean that is. And then you're like, oh, but I don't want those crop marks. Well, then just crop them out by using the select tool and just get rid of them. I could just come in from each corner, you know, like this. And there's my poster. And it's one image. Let's blow your minds. Here's for my flyer. Here's my bubbler flyer. I have the front and the back. All right, just different text, front and back. All right. Same thing. File, export, print PDF. I want to go to downloads. Save. I'm going to do press quality. Why not? Marks and bleeds, crop marks, please. Use document bleed settings, please. Export. And it's going to open up. I have 2 pages. Right? Watch this. I'm going to go to my presentation. I'm going to go to File, Place. What I'm going to make sure on, Show Import Options. I'm going to click on Bubbler Flyer and hit Open. Right here, Range. I want 1 and 2. And I'm going to hit OK. Now I click once and I click twice. I have the front and back of the PDF. And then I can go to here and I can crop that out. And they look great. I didn't import a JPEG. I didn't export and do like a crappy JPEG or something like that. It's a beautiful looking. And then File, and then it's my presentation, and I got to send it to Joel. And I'm going to do, you know, export, and again, the downloads, bubbler presentation, and I'm going to hit save, but I'll do the smallest file size for Joel because he requests that, and all this is turned out, and I'm going to hit export. Look at how clean that is. And it's just PDFs. Like, why even mess with images? Why just use PDFs? I've done a PDF like with 10 pages, and I drop each page in, and like it's so great to just use your PDF. Because your PDF, you're checking it, you know, it's a great way to export, and then you can place them. So start to do that. It's an amazing tool to use. Let's see. File, new, create. I think file, place. And then the bubbler flyer, show import options, place. And then 1 of 2. I think with this one, you have to do it single pages. I don't think you are allowed to, like, I'll do one page and then the other. Okay. There you go. And then I go to file, place, bubbler flyer, place, and then I want page 2. Okay. Place that in. Nice, clean, sharp looking. And it's a PDF. Pretty rad. So start placing PDFs into presentations. They'll look better. The more you know. All right. That's it for me. You know what to do next. I talked about that on Tuesday's lecture about adding Spanish, adding all the other parts and pieces that we need to start adding and looking at and designing into. Vehicles, Instagram ads, all that kind of stuff. Have fun. Again, with some of you, most everybody got it, but it's just one design. And then everything from that single design just gets transferred over, readjusted. Don't add anything new. Don't add anything different. If it's not on the poster, it shouldn't be anywhere else. If you add it somewhere else, then you have to go back and do that to everything else. They're design elements. You have created a brand. That brand should be consistent on everything you do. Brand consistency. And there's no reason. You have other projects to like add stuff to. Use that in the every designer needs to know, go crazy, and in the media, go crazy. But in this one, keep your brand consistency. Oh, I want to add something. Don't add something new. There's no reason to keep adding to these. They shouldn't change. It should look like 5 to 6 pieces that are exactly the same almost, just with different formatting. Cool. Again, reach out to me. If you have questions, comments, concerns, want to talk about anything, I am here. If you're like, oh, I read your reviews, and if people don't know, I like write back on every assignment in some way, shape, or form. If you're like, I don't get what you mean, reach out to me. Hey, I don't know what you meant by this comment. You can just do that message thing. What did you mean by the comment? This comment, copy and paste, send it to me. Let me know. I am here to make you better designers. All right, cool. Have fun. I'll talk to you next week Tuesday if I don't see you on the discussion boards. All right, bye-bye.